Okay, so welcome back, everybody. So we continue with what we were talking about ethic questions. In continuous to sorry, ethical questions, and our emphasis was on what is the best way to live a life, or is right everywhere, wrong everywhere, or it's a different everywhere. And we concluded in this session that right, wrong remain wrong, but the degree of understanding and degree of applicability would be different. So welcome back, and we continue with another session, and now in this another kind of philosophy. So exology has been divided into two part. Ethics we already have discussed. Second part is aesthetics. What is aesthetics? It's about beauty, it's about ugly. What is beautiful, what is ugly, that we need to understand. For me, beauty is a design, color, and for someone it could be not so good, not so beautiful. Right, you see this picture right side, it representing something. One pet, you can see a cat, on the other side a girl, right? What is ugly in this picture, what is beautiful in this picture? Ugly for us that how a cat can sit on a books, because books are really something very precious for all of us, right? But beauty of this picture is that somewhere you will see both the, both these girl and cat, they look same. You can see the beauty of this design. Somewhere color, design, they look like same, right? So why it is so? It is so because we live in a society or a culture, the way we have been taught, the way we have grown in such an environment that for us, beauty may have different meaning. It may be beautiful or may be ugly. So let us talk further about it. Aesthetics about emotional values. Emotionally, you might have seen advertisement nowadays. You have seen an advertisement for white color. You use this beauty cream, white cream, on your skin or on your face, and your face will become white. And now people say this is not good. You cannot give advertisement that you will become white, your face will become white, right? So this is what, this is the nature of beauty. So beauty for you, it may be a white color as we discussed. Beauty may be for you internal beauty. Beauty for you may be your knowledge, the way you talk, the way you behave. Your honesty can be a beauty. Then we talk about art, taste. For those who are in, cooking, for example, if you know I remember recently for 25 days, 1 month, I cooked food. So I know how it would be difficult for a woman or a lady to, cook a food, because we don't like same kind of food every day. We want to taste different kind of food, but a woman at home, it would be very difficult for her to cook a food which will have a different taste every day. It cannot be like that. So cooking a food is an art. So my wife, she said that your the kind of food you cook every day, it's so tasty. And I said that I never cook food in my life, I never wash clothes in my life, but I learn it that if you want to cook a tasty food, the one principle is that it should be a slow process. When you cook a food, if you slowly cook it, or suppose you make a tea, every day I make a tea at 4 o'clock at my home, or 5 o'clock when I come back from office. So you might have noticed that few people, they have an art of making tea, right? And when you taste the tea, it's so good. So beauty, art, taste, these all are creation, these all are appreciation of beauty. So a lot of people appreciate you. Oh my god, the taste of cup of tea you make, it's so good, it's so awesome. I mean, the kind of food you make, you cook, so good. Taste is so good. The art you have developed, whether it's art of cooking food or maybe the way you talk, or I personally feel that teacher must learn, it's a art how to teach. टीचर को लर्न करना चाहिए और ये एक आर्ट है कि कैसे पढ़ाएं, क्योंकि आपके जो बच्चे हैं उनकी एक्सपेक्टेशन है आपसे बहुत ज़्यादा. So how to fulfill that expectation? That would be with the art, and the art becomes so tasteful. It would be a kind of creation, and then you will have lot of appreciation. The way you talk, the way you teach, the way you make them learn. Right, everybody? So what kind of questions comes? What is beauty? What is art? So you can see one picture. It's so beautiful full for me. You remember the cat and the girl? It's so good. Both are look like same, and they are sitting in front of each other. What is art? What is the value of beauty and art? Who should judge what is beautiful or artistic? And how should art and beauty be judged? I mean, it's very difficult to judge a song, judge a painting, judge a color, right? I know when I go for shopping, it's a most difficult task for men. Men cannot have that kind of sense about selection of color, selection of design. I mean, it's very difficult for men. I'm sorry, especially those who are here with me. If you think of women can decide like anything. She has got external power, and some extra power, some God gift. They can sense it immediately that this color will fit to my drawing room, to my clothing. This design, this color would be a right kind of color, right? And as far as men are concerned, I mean, I don't think men are so perfect. So woman has got that power to appreciate art, to understand beauty, and they can judge better than the male members. So here you can see we are talking about aesthetic questions. What is beautiful? What is art? What is the value of beauty and art? Who should judge what is beautiful and artistic? How should art and beauty be judged? It's very difficult task. So this is all about aesthetics. So we have talked about exology, ethics, and aesthetics questions. Now next kind of philosophy, here you can see everybody, it's about philosophy of science. What is science? We'll talk about that. So here science, we want to know with the help of science the natural world, everything on this earth. We want to understand, we want to know. How should we study nature? I mean, the whole nature, why it's so beautiful, why it's so different. Some places rainfall, some places snowfall, some places desert, some places full of water, sea, very cold, less temperature, high temperature, a different nature, different crops, different food. So all is different on this earth. We want to study that, why they are different, how they are different, what methods can be used in the study of nature. Can science establish natural law which are absolute? That in science, generally we say in pure science about physics and chemistry, biology, etc., that whatever you do, it remains same everywhere, except the you enter into space where we have less gravity. But here you can see everybody, actually nature remains same. You water a plant, what will happen? It will grow. Simple science, right? So science methods remain same, science remains same. What are the limits of scientific knowledge? I don't think there is a limit, but there may be a limit. For example, the black hole, we don't know where is the black hole. So there may be a limit because we can't understand, is there any life on some other planet? We are still searching that. So these all philosophy of science, that there is a life on other planet, everywhere nature is same, the law, the nature of law remains same. That is philosophy of science, but we are not into this kind of science. Next, very important, here you can see religion philosophy. On the right side you can see different religion, my dear friends, different religion, and what they are doing. One thing is common in all these, that they are praying. They are praying to Allah, they are praying to God, they are praying to their God. We have different gods. Here you can see everybody. So everybody with folded hand, they are begging, not a begging, but thinking of God somewhere, right? Please help me. Or maybe they are thankful to God that we got this beautiful life. So here, first question is about religion. Where is the God? Does God exist? What is God? What is the nature of the relationship between God and human? As I said, human, we all are God fearing people. So whatever, whenever we try to do something wrong, who comes first to stop you? It's a God. God may be invisible, but we feel that God is everywhere, and if you try to do something wrong, God will see you, and God will punish you. So before you do something wrong, you have this philosophy that God will punish you, and so we don't do anything which is wrong. So is God active in the world? How? I don't know whether God is. So those where we have desert area and they are looking for rain, so they pray to God. God, please give us some water. Please have some rain in our area. So they say that when God would be active. Same thing is happening in Afghanistan. So we all are praying that something should happen there. So where is God? God, please help us and please help these people. I mean, it's very terrible situation over there. You all can see on television now. Is there a life after death? A beautiful question. As we all are God fearing people, we believe that after this life, we should do something, we should do everything which should be a right thing. We should all be honest, and in next life we gonna get another life, and where it would be, everything would be happy and happy. That is the philosophy of our religion. What is the relationship between religion and ethics, religion and science? So with the help of science, we are trying to prove, for example, Ganga river water, that up to what extent Ganga river water is so pure, because we have a belief in our religion that Ganga river water will take care of all ailment. So science help us to understand that this Ganga river water has got all minerals, and when you take these minerals in your body, it will help you to improve or will take care of your all ailments. So that is the relationship between science and religion. And what is the relationship between religion and ethics? Each and every religion is based on how you should live your life ethically, right? So why we are learning all this? Because when you would be conducting your research, you must respect others. You must give some kind of treatment to others which you are expecting from others for you. So research should be ethically, research should have, it should be kind of religious work, that you, because if you do something wrong, you will have some understanding that God will punish you. Now, very beautiful philosophy after religion is logic. Common sense is very uncommon, right? I mean, you can have PhD, you can have MBA, you can have big degree, but it may be that you are missing that common sense. So why you are missing? I don't know. There could be some reason that you don't understand logic. You don't understand that criteria, how to reach. Here you can see on the right side how to go away from this logic, how to reach at the optimum point. So you should have that sensitivity, you should have that sense, you should have that logic. So when you conduct your research, you should have some kind of flow process, that after first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seven, this kind of process, logical process, you need to develop, you need to understand. And here it would be a systematic principles or rule or steps for thinking rationally. What is rationally? Rationally means a right kind of decision which will not harm or that means you should not have any profit at the cost of other. Very simple principle, very simple logical principle. Here, inferences are made by construction of argument. So you need to have some logic. That logic will be on the basis of some argument. If I say that you are happy to kill one and save life of four people, how and why you say like this? So you develop an argument that in my hand, it was in my hand to kill either one or four, so I was not having any choice. So you need to develop an argument that it would be better to kill than the four. But in second situation, sorry, in second situation, I can see that next to me my friend is there. uh, if I push him right in front of a metro, then I will be able to save life of four or five people. But I can't do this act because it's not a logical. How I can kill my friend who is standing next to me on bridge, and I can just push him on the track to save the life of four or five people? I don't know. This is what it's not look logical to me, right? So in first situation things were logically different. In second situation logically things were different. So rules of logic determine which arguments are valid and which are wrong or fallacious. So logic help you that suppose rule is you should not cross a red light in India. If you do, what will happen if you cross red light in India? I mean, maybe maximum you will get some challan, right? Or what? You will hit other car or other other four wheeler or other vehicle. Simple this. Now same thing happens because wrong is wrong. So wrong would be, what would be the impact of wrong if you cross the red light? Maybe you hit some other four wheeler or other vehicle, or you will, if you cross it, then what happens? You will get a ticket. The traffic police would be there and they will give you a ticket or the challan, I must say. But same thing happens in USA. Wrong is wrong everywhere. What would be the consequences in USA? The chance would be 99% that you would be killed. Why you would be killed in a road accident? Because there, when they cross the red light, the speed of car would be 80 plus or 100 plus. Here in India, when you cross a red light, what happens? You slow down the speed of your car. Wrong is wrong everywhere, but the way you understand, the way you apply it, it would be different. So if you are in USA, never ever take a chance to cross the red light. What would happen? I'm not sure about challan, but I'm sure about one thing, that you will be killed in road accident. You will be die in road accident. So what is logic? Logic say, because they have a right. If it is a green light, the person who is driving a car, he will have a right to cross the green light. And whosoever comes in on the way, he will have a right to kill him or to hit him. This is what right is right, wrong is wrong. Right, everybody? So this is, here we can see a logic. Another important aspect of study of philosophy is the argument. So whenever you do your research, you're conducting a research, whatever reasoning, whatever rule, whatever statement you give, you need to develop an argument. You need to give a reason, right? Whatever questions comes, you should be capable to give reasons. You should be able to give answer to the different questions. So that is the beauty of your research, that you understand your research, you know everything about your research, and you would be capable to develop argument and would be able to give reasons to different questions. Now let us move further. To this end, philosophers employ logic to study the nature and structure of the argument, and logicians ask such questions: what constitute good or bad reasoning? So why these bad are bad? Why these good are good? Why good is good? Why bad is bad? So you need to have argument, you need to have reasoning that bad things are bad because the consequences would be bad. Good things are good, the result would be good. But you should have some, argument. How do we determine whether a given piece of reasoning is bad or good. So this is logic, and then we'll talk about morality, but morality will take in the next class, everybody. So what I'm going to do, so for today, thank you very much. Now I will take your question, because now we have a 10 minutes, and morality will cover tomorrow, and we'll start with the second unit. So let me stop it here, and we'll continue with the next unit with morality. We'll discuss morality, and we'll continue with the second unit.